Hi guys, welcome to Feminism on Trial. Tonight I want to talk about men. I want to talk about how feminism has attempted to distort what their true character is. Case in point, a good example is toxic masculinity. To paint them as abusers and controllers and wanting to enslave women, and that that every man is a potential rapist. That kind of an attitude. And I'm still trying to figure out how that got ingrained in me as I was a child growing up. Because my parents definitely, I don't remember them teaching me, be careful, every man is a rapist or a potential rapist. I never remember thinking of marriage as some kind of enslavement. But I do remember thinking, well, I'm going to do my own thing and he better not stand in my way. And I'm saying that like around, my teenage years. You think about, well, where were the influences? Movies, television, the radio back in the day, aging myself. What were the influences? I mean, it was all so subtle, but it was all encompassing. It was everywhere. It was a little bit in everything. So if you have a little bit of poison in every meal you eat and every beverage you drink, even though it might be a little bit of poison in each, eventually it's going to poison you. And you're not gonna know, well, where did it come from? Well, it came from everything that you consumed. And that's the best analogy I can come up with growing up, and how does it create us? Because it does. It's like a feminist factory. I mean, that's what childhood is for women now. It's a feminism factory. It's turning us out. And one of the things that they're doing is basically changing the truth about a man's true nature. We have lived as humans for thousands of years. Thousands of years. Stop scratching. Sorry. She doesn't obey. We've lived for thousands of years with men and women joining together consensually in their lives, but somehow now the narrative is that it's like a caveman, like he hits her over the head and drags her to the cave. Like, that's what traditional marriage is seen as. And by traditional, I mean Judeo-Christian, submissive wife, expected to be the mother and the stay-at-home wife, cook and clean and, serve your man and respect your man, submit to your man. And on the other hand, the man's required to support his wife, take care of her, and because he loves her, he's going to make her life as comfortable as possible. He wants to see her happy. That's why guys go into coal mines and go on oil rigs and go to war. They don't care about the oil rig. They don't care about the coal mine. They don't care about the war as much as they care about who it is they're doing it for. Think about that. Think about it. What do you think that man in West Virginia who works at the coal mine every day, say he's got, I'm gonna generalize, but I've lived in the South and I've driven through West Virginia and I've known some people, so I don't think this is too far off. Say he's got, 5 or 6 kids and he's married to his high school sweetheart, and she stays home and homeschools them and takes care of them because they live out, in Appalachia and the boonies, and he's going to the coal mines. Why? Why is he going to the coal mines? What a miserable life. Can you even imagine? Talking to the women, because guys can imagine. Can you women imagine every day suiting up, going into the coal mines, you bitch about, well, we're underrepresented in this and we're underrepresented in this. I don't hear you bitching about you're underrepresented in the coal mines and on the oil rigs. Don't hear that. Anyway, I'm not trying to bash women. I'm trying to point out that feminism has infected the way we, even our definitions of things, our definition of a man. And now, if a man acts in any way that is his character, his nature, it's toxic. Getting off track. I feel very passionately about this. Not only are they doing everything to distort the truth about men, but, and by they I mean feminism, it, the creature, the cancer. It is actually succeeding in changing the behavior of men. Look at MGTOW. Men, it's not in man's nature to not pair up, to not want to procreate. That's not in men's nature. But because of feminism and everything that it comes with, in all my videos you will hear me talking about it, men being abused, not being believed, men being accused, and just all the ways that women can completely destroy their lives, and with the power of the state. They can do that. So they're going their own way. They're like, this is not a safe environment, so out they go. So that is not, but that goes against their actual true nature. Except that they're following their instinct to survive. So that's with their nature, but usually survival meant, for thousands of years, it meant having a helpmeet, because two is better than one. But with the way women are these days, two is too dangerous. And not only that, with all the single motherhood going on, because women are, spreading their legs, I realize that men need to stop, pursuing that, because we need fewer children without fathers. But so many children being raised without fathers has changed those children. It has changed those boys. When you try to raise a boy into a man without a man to do it, it's nearly impossible. It is impossible. And for the feminists and the trolls who are on here like, oh no, a woman can do it. Oh yeah? Well, I bet you would think that a man would have some trouble raising a girl into a woman, wouldn't you? So, shut up. Because if you can't accept it one way, then, let's not make up our own truth and say one way is impossible because women can do it, but then say that a man can't raise a girl on her own. Neither one can do it. They need each other. But a man brings the children into adulthood. He lays down the rules with the girl to protect her from guys who wouldn't have her best interest at heart. And he brings his boy into a man. He teaches him principles. He teaches him hard work. He teaches him practical, practical things that every man needs to know. He teaches him how to, yes, be stoic. I'm sick of this sensitization of men. Like, that's a better thing. Stoicism, there is a place for stoicism. We can't all be running around freaking out. We need our men to be stoic, because women are not stoic. We flip out. We panic. We overreact. We tend to do that. We have our good things too. We also nurture and we love and we forgive and so many things that women can do well. But stoicism is not one of them, and we need somebody to keep their head on their shoulder. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer to me, but I'm glad that my man, he's the stoic one. He's the rock. He will, say, all right, let's back this up a little bit. Because I can be a typical woman sometimes, and that can come out, and we all need to be tempered. but I'm sick of the way they're tempering men. They're tempering men and changing them. Pay attention to art, music, poetry. Pay attention to the way men are drawn to those formats to appreciate women. Not so much anymore, not in modern times so much, but I'm like, think back to, say, the Mona Lisa. Think back to even some songs, back a few decades ago. There's this one country song. It came on my Pandora. I have no idea how, but I remembered it from my childhood, so I listened. And it's called, it starts, He Stopped Loving Her Today. And the song is about this man whose wife walked out on him. She had bigger and better plans, what have you. And, but the song continues and his life goes on, but he still loves her, But the day he stopped loving her, that verse in the song is the description of her funeral. And I don't even believe that he stopped loving her then. I realize it's a song, maybe based on real life, but it's a really good portrayal of men and how they love. I don't think it's as true anymore in these modern times because we're so broken, both of us, men and women. But men, there's that one that they can't forget. Remember, I'm going to age myself with this reference. Remember the movie City Slickers, and Billy Crystal asked Curly, the real rough cowboy guy, what's the secret to life? And Curly was like, it's one thing. And he was trying to figure it out. And then they had another discussion but that's about principle. That's my whole point. It's a principle. You figure out that principle in yourself and you've got that. But that, aged cowboy talking to a guy in his 40s and passing on the wisdom, that's what men do. That's their nature. But it's like society through feminism it's extracting that from it. We don't do that anymore because new ways are better, which they're not. But he also, in that same, I think it was in the same part, Curly talked about one of them asked if he'd ever been in love, and he said, yeah, once. And it was this girl that he saw from a distance. And he said, she was working in the field or something, and she stood up and she was wearing this dress, and he said something like she stood up and stretched and showed the body that God had given her. And that was it. And that was his love. And Billy Crystal couldn't figure it out. I was like, well, why didn't you go talk to her? Why didn't you? Something could have happened. And Curly was like, it was never going to get better than that. But Curly was a little migged out. He was like, yeah, but nothing is going to make that image that I have of her better. But my point is that woman, he had this love for her forever. And that's, again, it's not real. It's a movie, but it's a form of art. And somebody wrote that based on their life. And it comes out of men's true character and the way that they love. They love sacrificially. A man will give up his life. I know there's a bunch of guys right now going, I won't give up my life for any woman. I know, because you're burned and women aren't women anymore. We're not. I'm trying so hard to be. I really am. That's my goal. Like, I want to stand up for men and I want to be a traditional woman. Notice, I'm not telling anyone else to do it. I'm not trying to enforce some kind of Sharia law type deal. I think people should be free and do what they want to do. This just happens to be the way I see the world and what I'm doing about it. So, gotta address those trolls. Oh, plus the single moms, I mean, they're gone all the time anyway. They've got their career, they got so much going on. They gotta, be the queen and put the roof over the head and all of that. And you can't prioritize your children when you do that. You can't. You can buy them new Nikes, But you don't have time to cuddle with them, and you don't have time to really talk to them. You don't know your children when you do that, and you're kidding yourself if you say you do. You're just saying it. Because that's what you've been taught. When we had career day in school, there was no homemaker that came talk about it, at least from my generation. It was all, this is the chiropractor, this is the dentist, this is the doctor, this is the whatever. All the parents came and talked about their career. It was not acceptable to say, I'm not going to have a career outside the home. My purpose is to be a wife and a mother and a homemaker. It's not just about washing the dishes. You make the home. You bring that softness and refuge for everyone as they, come through the world. And I can tell you, it feeds my soul. And I'm not even doing it full time yet. But serving is actually something that women have in their character. But we're being told that it's us being enslaved and it's a weakness. So we deny ourselves doing it because we think it's weak. We think we need to be a boss. I'm sick of that. It's the last day of Women's History Month. I'm sick of hearing about it. So they're not talking about our true strengths. They're talking about stuff that we do that's like men. How are you pro-woman if you only celebrate things you do that are like men? It's so stupid, and they don't see it. Lord, this is a long rant, but it really comes from recognizing the character of men, because that's where it all starts. If you're a Christian, especially, that's where it all starts. I mean, God created Adam, and then everything around Adam. But Christians don't want to talk about that, and certainly atheists don't. They'll think I'm in a cult. I've already been accused of that. And the last thing, the movie The Princess Bride. I think that is a huge piece of evidence to show that men do believe in love, loyalty, and not only that, that movie also shows that, she went off with Prince Humperdinck, right? We don't know why. We don't know if it was like a survival thing because she had to get married or she'd starve, or was it hypergamy? Was she like, well, he left. This guy's a prince, at least I'll be rich. Obviously, Wesley thought that it was a hypergamy situation. I never saw it that way until my man explained it that way, and I was like, wow, I had a totally different take. I thought she did it out of almost like she was kidnapped into it, which of course I would think of it that way, because we're told that that's what men do. They oppress women. Anyway, I just wanted to chat tonight, and there's been so much on my mind, and this is just, I wanted to talk about that song, He Stopped Loving Her Today, and The Princess Bride. Why do all these guys love The Princess Bride? Why? Every guy my age, a little bit older and a little bit younger, loves The Princess Bride. It's a love story. It's a love story. Why do they write these songs? The country songs are still, somewhat traditional. It's about this sacrificial love, and that's what men have done for centuries. And I just appreciate them. I appreciate it. I was appreciating, I was thinking a lot about the attorney Mark Angelucci, whose birthday was yesterday, men's rights activist. I was thinking about the National Coalition for Men and the meetings that I attend on Sunday. I've taken a little bit of a break, but I'll be back after Easter. And just watching them talk about their kids that they're fighting for in court to be with, their own children. They love them. You can see it. And then you see the other guys on like the Zoom, and they're watching the other man with his child, and you can see in their eyes them just going back to their own days of battling or helping a friend battle to have their own children. So I've been really thinking about all of that and really thinking about how much I appreciate you guys. I really do. And kind of just going over a lot of topics that I want to get into. It is so much. It's the more you dig, the more there is. So anyway, have a good night, and really think about this stuff. Just really think about what's true. What is true. So have a good night, everybody. Don't forget to hit subscribe and check out my other videos. Share them if you'd like. Maybe we can grow this channel. Maybe it can go somewhere. So leave me comments. Give me ideas for what you would like to talk about. And have a good night.